the number one way to get web traffic is with content, but knowing what type of content to make is really difficult. So today I'm going to give you 37 types of blog posts that are guaranteed to drive traffic and make you money. So today you're going to discover some blog post formats that you have never seen before. And also, when you stay until the end, I want to give you a free bonus that will show you how my students are generating enormous levels of wealth for themselves and for their families with a secret traffic method that I have used to get over 30,000 website visitors every day for free. Okay, so before I show you which types of blog posts to make, and these are all proven to get traffic and make money, I do need a favor from you. So tell me in the comments which types of blog posts you want to learn more about, and then I will go ahead and create some more in-depth lessons for you. So let's go to the computer and get started. Okay, so before we do anything, we need to know who your audience is. So I've made this really simple. So I've basically boiled it down into a couple of fill in the blank statements. So just fill in the blanks. So I help someone who wants to achieve whatever it might be. So just fill that in. So you want to help men over 40 who want to lose weight, or you want to help single mums make money on the internet, whatever it might be. Just fill in those two blanks, and now you know exactly who your audience is. So once you know that, we can then start thinking about the types of content that we're going to make. So I'm going to show you two types of content. So the first one is content that you make. So this is created content. It's original content that comes from you or someone in your team. The second type is content that other people make. So this is curated content. So it's content that already exists on the internet, and we take small portions of it and then repurpose it into content for our websites. I'll show you how to do that later on. So I'm going to show you actually both of these types of content. In fact, I'm going to introduce another type later on. So really, you're going to learn three different types, but for purpose of simplicity, we're going to focus on content that you make, created, and then content that other people make that is already being published on the internet, curated. Now, before we get into these types of formats, let me know in the comments if you want me to cover any of these in a bit more depth. So you might see a specific type of blog post and think, oh, that sounds interesting. I really want to learn more about that. Because listen, you can take one or two of these formats and do really well. You do not have to do all of these. You can do mix and match stuff, that's great. But if you think one really leaps out at you and you want me to teach you more about that, tell me in the comments. So let's start with created content that you are going to make or you pay someone to make for you. So Listicles is the big one that is really simple to do. That's the first type of format that most bloggers learn. And in fact, this piece of content I'm making for you is a form of listicle too. So if you want another example of how to structure a listicle, it's just something like the top 10 ways to achieve X, Y, or Z, or the top 7 ways, or the top 5 ways. So basically, we just combine a list into a blog post. And this piece of content I'm making for you is really just a list of 37 types of blog posts that get traffic and make money. So this in itself is an example. We also have expert interviews. So this is when we ask someone who is recognized in your niche or your niche how they achieved X, Y, or Z. So it could be how Bob somebody achieved dramatic weight loss in 3 months. So we speak to people who have achieved the same things that our audience wants to achieve. And that's why it's essential to know who you're talking to. We also have spotlights. So these are different from interviews because in an interview, we have to reach out to someone. We have to invite them to take part in an interview. With a spotlight, we don't do that. What we do is we can take maybe an author or someone who has achieved something, and then we write a blog post about why our audience needs to read or be aware of this person. So we're essentially reporting about what they've achieved or what they've done. Next is expert roundups. Expert roundups. So what we do here is we approach a handful of experts in our niche or a niche, and we ask them all the same question. We compile their answers into a single blog post, and what really happens here behind the scenes is a percentage of those experts will then go out and promote you on social media. They might even link to you from their website, and that's going to send traffic. It's going to give you link juice. It's going to help your SEO. So an example of that could be, we asked 10 marketing experts how to get more traffic, or we asked 10 personal trainers how to lose weight fast. So that's expert roundups. We also have who to follow. So this in itself can be a listicle. We use listicles right through, we use them repeatedly in different ways. So who to follow. So we can choose the best people in your niche and then give a reason why your audience should follow these people. Now, I did this maybe a year or two ago on Profit Copilot. I looked at the people who I really do trust in digital marketing, and then I made a video list of why I believe that these people are trustworthy and honest, and why my audience would value their advice too. What happened, it wasn't intentional, but what tended to happen was some people on that list then showed that video to their audiences. That wasn't my intention, but there you go. It got traffic, it got some traction for me. So I'm sharing it with you because all these methods work. So all you do is list the 10 of the best marketing experts in copywriting or whatever is relevant to your niche. We can also do reviews. Now, reviews are very popular for affiliate marketers. So you could say, is such a product worth the money? And then in that article, you have links to the product, affiliate links. Now, people are getting wise to this as an affiliate marketing trick. So it's not really as effective as it used to be. Best course of action is always to build an email list instead of just linking to an affiliate link. But when it comes to reviews, you're attracting buyer intent. So people with money to spend, they're interested in a product and they're looking for reviews. They want to know, is it really worth the money? So you tackle that head on. You address that concern. Next up, we have cheat sheets. So this is where you can list the top 10 things that they need to remember before they achieve a result. So the 10 things they need to remember for a camping trip or before they start a diet. Next up, we have checklists. Kind of similar to cheat sheets, but here you're going to tell them maybe the 5 things that they need to get before they do something. And cheat sheets and checklists are really good lead magnets too. So you can repurpose that piece of content into a lead magnet and use it to build your email list. We've also got infographics. If you're not very creative or good with Photoshop, then just find someone on Fiverr to make an infographic for you. But the important thing about these is you provide original data. So you can say something like, we analyzed the top tweets to find out X result, or find out who's really doing what. So infographics, very popular, very shareable across the internet. And when it comes to outreach and link building, these are very effective too, because it's easy for other bloggers and other webmasters to take your infographic, put it on their website, or share it on social media, and then link to your website as the original source. We've also got personal stories. Never underestimate the impact of storytelling. We are hardwired to respond to stories. Think about children. We teach them through storytelling, and it goes right back to cavemen times. We draw pictures on the cave to point out where there's a predator or where there's a food source. So storytelling is a powerful way to connect with an audience and to drive traffic. So for example, you could say something like, how I overcame weight struggle, or how I overcame obesity, or how I overcame being broke. So really, with your stories, you want to start them at a place of struggle. Ideally, it's going to be the same struggle that your audience is facing. And then you talk about the journey, how you overcame it, how you achieved some results. And these are inspiring as well. These are inspirational. And they can motivate people to take action. And what happens when someone reads a story, they see themselves in it. So it's not really about you. It's always about your audience. We've also got reaction posts. So this is where we take someone else's content, kind of, and we analyze it, we break it down, we react to it. So I'm including this in created content and not curated. We'll talk about curated later on, but reaction is going to be your reaction, why you find it important, why you feel a certain way about other people's content. So we can say something like 10 things we loved or hated about someone's YouTube video or someone's book. We've also got monthly updates. So this is where you share your current journey and you report on your most recent achievements or your most recent failures. So you could do an income report. So maybe how much money I made this week or this month, or how much weight I lost this week or this month. And people really respond to these because, again, they can see themselves in these stories that you're sharing. So if you share your results, it will motivate them, it will inspire them to maybe take similar steps, so they will follow you. We've also got open letters. These are very powerful because they tend to get shared very widely, so it's going to pull in targeted traffic to you pretty quickly. So for example, you could say open letter to personal trainers, or open letter to marketing gurus, whatever is relevant to your niche. Just write an open letter and say what you think, basically. It's important at this stage, we do not attack any individual. That is a fast way to burn bridges. You don't want to do that. You can attack ideas and values, but the second you get personal with someone else, then you're really going down a negative path. And I want to make sure that you contribute something of immense value and positivity to your niche. We always have to leave niches in a better place than when we found them. If you approach marketing from that angle, you're going to do really well because you're delivering value. So with your open letters, attack ideas, attack values, criticize those, but never criticize an individual. Next up is heart to heart. So this is where we really open up and we get real about our feelings. So it could be something like how I feel about marketing and why it matters, or how I feel about the weight loss industry and why it matters. And here again, you're talking about ideas and values. And we absolutely get real. We speak on a human personal level. And these can often have an element of vulnerability in them because we're all human, right? We all have doubts and fears. And if we can convey that through the content we create, we're going to connect with people because they too have doubts and fears. And if they align, if you have the same doubts and fears as your audience, you're going to create a bond with them. And we all wonder if we're doing the right thing. It's natural, right? Even at this stage of Profit Copilot, as things are starting to happen and I'm so pleased with how it's going, I still have days where I struggle. And I really do struggle. I wonder, what am I doing? Does this even make sense anymore? Am I doing the best that I can with my life? Or have I just made this big mistake and people are taking what I'm creating and misinterpreting it or using it for negative things? Because I know some of the stuff that I share can be used. It's all about intention. Hopefully my audience, and I believe that 99.9% of my audience are really decent, honest people who just want to improve their lives a little bit. So you can talk about your audience, talk about your journey, the doubts that you have. That's going to connect with people. As long as it's authentic and it comes from a real place. And what is authenticity? It's genuine communication. It's speaking from the heart. We've also got rants on the flip side of that. So again, you might be familiar with some of the rants I've done on Profit Copilot. I really do tend to lay in to the get-rich-quick mentality out there. And for you, it's probably something else, right? So you might say, why something is bad. So maybe why the weight loss industry is lying to you. Why personal trainers want to keep you fat. Something like that. As long as we don't get personal. Yeah, we're not calling out any individual, but we're calling out ideas or strategies, techniques or philosophies, values. Again, we're not getting personal. We can also make predictions. So we can have a look at the trends. We can make predictions about where things are going. So you could create a piece of content that says the 10 latest trends and predictions for your niche. And when you make predictions, you immediately set yourself up as a leader, as someone who is knowledgeable and has the authority to create or make these predictions. Likewise, we can also do slideshows that will help position you as an authority, because if you're attending events or virtual events, or you're out there networking with people, you're active in your niche, you can create a piece of content that shows the must-see moments from such virtual event or such place or such activity that your audience might not have been privy to. Next up, we have summaries. So this is when we can read a book even, or we can go through a course and we can summarize maybe the top 10 key insights from someone else's piece of content. So we can watch a YouTube video, we can summarize the best points of that, and that is a piece of content. So basically we're condensing things down and making it simpler and easy for someone else to digest. We've also got charity posts. So this, first of all, it's going to benefit your chosen charity or whatever foundation you want to help. So secondly, it's going to position you as a charitable person who thinks about more than just themselves, which I'm sure you do anyway. I mean, we all give to charity when we can. And if you can highlight a cause or an issue on your blog, on your YouTube channel, and encourage your community, your audience to contribute to that, that's a win-win for everybody, because what happens when we donate to charity? we feel good about ourselves. It makes us it improves our self-image. So giving to charity is a win-win-win. So you could say, why such a cause needs your support. But the thing with these is you don't want to do them too often. Just every now and then is going to be fine. We've also got tutorials. These are the big pieces of content that are going to get you lots of evergreen traffic. So these are massively educational. You're going to teach someone how to achieve something. So how to build a website without expensive hosting, or how to lose weight without a crazy diet. Next, we've got case studies. So instead of us teaching someone how to do something, we look at what someone else has achieved and we invite them to come on board. So we break it down. We use them as a case study. So how somebody escaped a negative situation. So how my student Charles escaped the 9 to 5, or how Dan lost 20 pounds in weight over 12 months, or whatever it might be. Next, we've got comparisons. Now, as human beings, we're really bad at assessing the value of something, but we're really good at making comparisons. So we can create a piece of content that positions itself as maybe the top 10 products under $200. And to be fair, maybe 10 comparisons is a bit overkill. So we might say something like the top 10 of the top 5 web hosts under $10 a month, something like that. We've also got resources. Now, resources can be twofold. So you can list out all the tools that you use to achieve something. But in addition to listing those tools, you can also have affiliate links in there as well. And I think you may as well add some affiliate links to these types of blog posts, because you're promoting something, you're recommending something anyway, so you may as well earn a commission if you actually do use the tools. Because what's going to happen is once your blog gets some traction, people are going to email you. They're going to say, hey, I noticed that you're using such a tool or such a web host. What do you think? And they're going to ask you questions, and you have to be able to answer those questions. So resources, very good, as long as you're only recommending tools that you actually use. Next, we've got guest posts. So this is where we're moving away from creating content for our website, and we're creating content for other people's websites. And in doing so, we add value to the niche, but we also have links back to our website. So we're getting that link juice. It's going to improve our SEO. So we publish guest posts on other people's websites. If you can't do that, if you don't want to do that, then you can always go with sponsored. So this is where you just pay someone to host your content on their website and then link back to you. Now, if you're going down that avenue, it has to be disclosed according to the Google Webmaster Guidelines that your piece of content is sponsored. So it's really up to the other webmaster or the blogger. They have to decide for themselves what's right for their business, and if they want to play along with the guidelines that Google suggests. But for best results, you want to have something on there to indicate that it's a sponsored post. So you're not deceiving anyone. You're being completely upfront. But you get the traffic, you get the exposure, you get the, I will say, link juice, because these links are going to be no follow. But for a healthy, organic backlink profile, we need to have a mix of both. We need to have do follow and no follow. Because if you have 100% do follow links, that looks very unnatural. It looks spammy. So Google is going to, they're going to look at that a little bit suspect. So really, you have to mix it up a little bit. Okay, so before we get to the next section, do you want me to cover any of those in more detail? Tell me in the comments what type of blog posts you want more detail on, and then I'll go ahead and create those individual lessons for you. Okay, so the next type, before we get into curated content, we're going to look at one that I didn't mention, but I thought I would include as a form of bonus, because we're going to look at news posts. But, a word of caution here, with these type of posts, you're going to see a large spike in traffic initially, but they are typically not evergreen. So what that means is, in a month's time, those pages and those posts probably will get very little traffic, if any. So while it's good for that initial spike, long term, not so good. Okay, so we can create news reports about larger industry news or current events. We'll speak a little bit about current events later on, but it's all the stuff that is all the stuff that is happening beyond your immediate world. So counter to that, on the flip side, we have corporate news. So this is the stuff that is happening in your immediate world. So maybe you have a sale or an event coming up or something that's happened in your corporate world that you can write a news report about. We also want to uncover new data, statistics. So we're going to talk about uncovering more data later on, but we can run a survey, we can gather new data. Listen, we can even go to Reddit, create a survey or a poll on there, gather that data and turn it into a news report. So these are going to be news, events, or trends that are happening in your niche. They have to be relevant to your industry. Next, we've got newsjacking, very powerful strategy if you're willing to embrace newsjacking, because it's all about taking current events and then making them relevant to your brand or your niche. And I've seen some examples of newsjacking when it's felt very forced, and because it's felt forced, it hasn't had the desired impact. So it has to feel natural, it has to feel organic. So think about what is going on in the world right now and how that might impact or be relevant to your niche, and talk about it. And then you distribute that to to bloggers, to podcasts, YouTubers, who might then report on it. And everything is then viewed through this lens that is relevant to your niche. So when it comes to these type of news posts, do you want me to cover any of these in a bit more detail? Tell me in the comments. Okay, let's move on to curated content. So this is content that already exists, and then we repurpose that, or we ask other people to get involved and generate the content for us. For example, we can use polls. So we can run a poll or a survey on our website, and then we can take that data, turn it into a piece of content. It is similar to one of the news pieces of content. So you can use this data in multiple ways. You can also turn it into an infographic. Now, an example would be to find out which solution is best for a specific result. So which type of marketing is best for traffic generation? So, which is best? So it could be email marketing, it could be blog posts, it could be YouTube, which is best for marketing. We've also got crowdsourced, which is similar to polls because we are relying on our audience to generate the content for us. But we can ask them a question, and then we create a piece of content based around the responses. And that could be positioned as what our readers really think about weight loss, or really think about diets or marketing or gurus. So to create one of these, we just send an email out to our list, asking a single question, compile all the answers or all the answers that you want to include, bring them into a single blog post. Again, you can turn that into a news report if you want to. We've also got patchwork. Now, I'm going to guess you have not heard of this before. However, it is a technique that I have had massive amounts of success with. Literally millions of visitors have come to my website, which was predominantly made up of curated content using this patchwork technique. So what we do is we take small portions of content from multiple sources. So it's really easy to do. So we might take a paragraph of content from the BBC, and then we credit them as the original source of that. Then we write a couple of lines about why it's important, what it really means, and then we go to another source and we take another piece of content, so a paragraph from maybe CNN or Fox or wherever, and we can apply this to blog posts as well. So you can go to your favorite blogs, take a portion of their content, just a paragraph or two, not very much, link back to the source, and then you can create a piece of content out of that. Now, to tell Google that this is not really duplicate content, you want to wrap the paragraphs that you take in quotes, in block quotes, and then link to the source. So that tells Google this is taken from somewhere else. Don't credit me as the creator of this. And then you're going to be perfectly fine. So you can have an article made up of multiple sources to create something that the internet has never seen before. Sure, it's made up of things that they might have seen, but compiled together to tell a new narrative, to tell something new that's going to be of immense value to your industry. We've also got media embeds. So for example, we just go to YouTube, we take the best videos, embed them in a blog post, write a few lines about why we think people need to watch this video, why it's important. We do that for each one. And now we have a piece of curated content that is of value to our audience. Similar to that, we can also go to social media. So we can take tweets that people have and we can embed them in blog posts. We can take Facebook. We can look at Instagram. And as long as we're linking back to the original source, we're wrapping things in quotes when necessary, it's going to be fine because we are still delivering enormous value to our audiences. Now, if you want me to cover any of these in a bit more detail, tell me in the comments. I'll be delighted to go ahead and create that content for you. But this is really important. Before you embark on this journey and you start creating content, bear in mind that it is consistency that is what is going to get you results over time. And when you are consistent, who knows what type of amazing results you can get. Like Matt, he's making millions of dollars online thanks to my training. And if you want to know the secret and you really are serious about making money on the internet, you are going to need more web traffic. So I will give you the secret traffic methods that I never share on YouTube or anywhere else. You can get them all for free when you go to profitcopilot.com/traffic, and I'll also put a link in the description for you too. Okay, if you found today's lesson valuable, give it a thumbs up below, subscribe to the channel too, hit that little notification bell so you never miss an update from me, and I will hopefully see you again in a couple of days' time. Take care.